Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Allison Bedell.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Let's do this thing.
Is this thing on?
Allison Bedell, we're back at the table doing our thing.
Skip Bedell, we're right here doing it again.
Welcome everybody back to Hammer and Nails podcast, and we want to thank you guys for coming back each and every week, and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. We're out.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Skip is a little bit tired this evening. He had a very long day, and he wishes it would be finished already. So we're going to try to bust it out, because we have tips. You know why?
Why?
Because it's Tip Tuesday.
Tip Tuesday!
Tip Tuesday. Everybody loves Tip Tuesday.
I have some tips, too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you are like just a full of tips.
Yeah, I have a plethora of tips, but I'm only going to give a couple. But,
That's a big word.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we could talk about, though.
We got some
get to
listener
the
questions,
tips.
people calling in, and well, not calling in, but writing in, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Which we definitely do appreciate all the questions, you guys.
Before we get to that,
Yeah.
it's coming very soon. It's this coming weekend.
You guys definitely want to get over to Hofstra University. It's
On
out on Long
April
Island
9th.
This Saturday. Come on out and see us. We're going to be there. I'll be doing some presentations and seminars and a little meet and greet and that whole thing. And plus, you get to walk around the show and check out some great vendors.
Yeah, or not. You can just come and say hi to us and then leave.
Well, yeah.
I think it might be free admission. I don't know. There's supposed to be like passes. I told them I didn't get the passes. They said they sent us, so they're sending them again. But I don't know if it's maybe. Sometimes they do that just to get people to go.
Right.
And then when they get there, it's free anyway. Speaking of home show, we just went to one yesterday because our friend from DIY Networks Rescue Renovation, Kayleen McCabe, was in town.
Love her.
And yeah, she stayed over
awesome.
the house last night. We had a blast. It was really cool because it was a weird experience because she's a contractor and because you and Kayleen can talk and talk and talk.
Forever.
Shop.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And like you guys went out into your trailer today, into your like your tool.
It's my mobile shop.
Mecca. Yeah, your mobile shop. And I didn't even, like, that's an occasion where not that I don't trust you, but it was just a cool non-caring about. I wasn't worried, like, Skip's going into the trailer with some chick. You know what I mean? Because it was, like, all work stuff. You guys were just, like, talking tools all night long.
Yeah, we're just, like, geeking out on power tools and, like this, like, it's cool because, like, she very much knows her shit. And, you know, not to say that, like, you know, women, like, it's not possible that women could know about this industry, but really there aren't that. It's mostly a male, you know, predominantly male in this business. And to see a woman that's really on top of her game, she's very familiar with, you know, building products and techniques and, you know, just her skill level is super high. She has a ridiculous knowledge of power tools, and you know she has a great woodworking shop out in Colorado where she builds furniture and stuff.
She showed us her shop, and when we ran into her, she had this like it almost looked like, what are those things called when you're a kid and you squeeze the viewfinder, the little view thing?
It was like this cardboard box, but it has like virtual reality goggles like built into it. So it's this new technology that you guys are seeing now that's coming out. You know, it's available all over the place, but it's basically made. It started out being made for gaming, and now they're using it for like everything. Right? You can take virtual tours of like real estate. You know, to see a property, and there's so many applications for it.
But what's cool was about she had a camera, but she didn't have with her. But she has this special, expensive camera where you can take. Actually, no, she did have it with her.
Yeah, she did have it.
Oh,
with her.
Yeah. It looks like the remote to the TV, the Apple TV. It's like a very small, little, tiny thing.
Yeah, it's like a thin, it's very small camera. Like you stand it up on a tabletop, and it has like two fisheyes, like one on either side, like a round, almost like if you would take a glass marble, cut it in half, put one side on one side of the device and the other on the other, right? And you just snap the picture.
You just press, and you can do it with the remote also. You can use your iPhone as the remote to snap the picture, so you don't have to hold the thing. And it takes a panoramic picture, but not just panoramic, up and down
It's
and all around.
360 degrees.
Yes.
So
Three
what happens
fucking 160.
when you and it's crazy. The quality of it is unbelievable.
So you can look at the picture that she took on the phone, like whereas if you hold your phone and move it up and down and all around, it's as if the phone is your eyes and you're looking at what's in that direction because the phone's GPS senses the way that you're turning it.
Yeah.
And then those goggles that she had.
Well, that's the thing. The key is the goggles. So, like, you get the goggles are actually cheap. The goggles, you can get them for like, I don't know, $50 or whatever. But the camera
No, they were like $10.
Oh, well, yeah, it's like it's almost a nominal cost, but they kind of like an add-on to the camera. But you really need the goggles. Like you can look at that picture just on your iPhone,
right,
or your smartphone, but you don't get the same effect if you wear these goggles.
You slip the phone into these goggles.
So you put the phone actually into the goggles,
and it's in a special mode so that it knows that it's going into the goggles.
It was the coolest thing ever. I mean, it was just like I was actually walking through her wood shop.
Yeah.
And no matter where I looked, if I looked up, if I turned my head down, or like just spun my whole body, if I actually stood in place,
Skip's actually doing a demonstration
and
right now,
spun around like
of him spinning.
I'm standing and just spinning around. I'm walking through the shop, and it was so cool. Like if you walk a couple of feet over, you're getting closer to the saw, and so like the technology is just. It's just erupting overnight. And the cool thing is that from what I understand, she was talking about integrating it somehow into like a virtual tour to where like she teaches a lot of kids. She travels around the country, which is also part of the reason why she was here. She'll travel around the country to different schools and also talk to like mentally challenged kids and all different types of kids, basically to preach about the trades, because really like the younger generation doesn't really have a lot of interest in getting into the trades and working with their hands. And guess what, people, we need trade workers, because eventually I'm going to get like too old and I'm going to be crapping myself, and there won't be anybody else out there like me. Our generation is like, it's the young kids they're more interested in the computers. They're interested in like video games and stuff, and making apps and computer programs. And
times have changed.
No doubt, there's a huge industry with all of that technology that needs people to work in the technology. But guess what? I don't care how much technology advances. We're all going to need a roof over our heads. Mm-hmm. We're all going to need roads to drive on, and schools and buildings and hospitals. And somebody's got to build this stuff, and somebody's got to maintain it.
You know how Vice President Gore back in the day started talking about global warming and getting people to change their behaviors to save the earth. And, people think like, not, first of all, like it's not gonna affect them in their lifetime. Right.
Yeah,
but then
all the icebergs and like,
right.
Yeah.
They're melting,
Alaska,
and, the polar
melting,
bears don't have, icebergs. So
pretty
it's
soon
like
the polar bears are going to start migrating down to like New York and eating people on the streets of Manhattan.
So my point of that is that you don't really take it seriously because you think that, it's not going to happen during your lifetime and you don't have to worry about it. But it really is happening during your lifetime. You just don't see it so much. And I think similarly, people are migrating towards all of this IT and the phones and the tablets and the computer work, but people are forgetting that they need people in the trades to actually work with their hands. And back in the day, it used to be go to college, get a college degree. You can't get a good job without it. But now people are failing to see that vocational schools are really the way to go because that's where you're getting a job right out of college. And learning a trade is actually going to make you more valuable because the less people that have these skills, the more you're going to be wanted and the more you can get paid.
Well, it's true. People who actually have those skills, you're right, are going to be in high demand because there's not as much interest as there used to be in it. And, just like over the time, even like after the Industrial Revolution, machinery, technology started moving forward, transportation, everything got bigger, faster, and we had to have people to know how to handle the machinery and how to build things and keep up with all the technology. So this progression has always been there, but now it's advancing at such a rapid rate that we're getting so far out. And what's here today is like obsolete tomorrow, and it's really amazing. But the thing is, as I said, we're always going to need a place to live. We're always going to need a house. You're always going to need buildings to operate all these computers in, right? Guess what? You can't stand out in the rain and run your tablet. It's like, well, you probably can't because most are probably waterproof now, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to need a roof over your head. Someone's going to still have to know how to build things and still how to know to maintain them, right? Yeah. So, plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, carpenters, painters, These are people that always are going to be in
just like doctors. People
demand.
are always going to need them. Always.
Well, yeah, and you can say, well, you can't compare like someone in the trades to a doctor, but guess what? It's vital,
a house doctor.
It's vital to our civilization and survival to have shelter,
right?
And and of course, anytime you have a structure that you're gonna use as a dwelling, you're gonna need ways to improve it or change it or repair it. So anyway, I'm getting long-winded with the whole thing, but it's cool because she has taken it upon herself, in addition to having a great TV show and everything else, but she's used her platform for good, and then she's going out and talking to kids about how important it is to get interested in the trades and why you guys might want to consider becoming a contractor or a carpenter or a plumber or whatever. Because it's something that like kids don't even know, like it's not even like they don't, it's like out in space. They don't even know what that is anymore, so anyway, so she was here doing this thing and she said, well, check out these goggles, right? So we put them on and like we were able to take this virtual tour through her workshop.
She wants to make a program where you can actually touch the items that are in the virtual picture that you're looking at. And then like say you touch a particular tool, the website will come up for that tool, and
which kids now can understand. Because let's face it, like 4-year-olds are using tablets and going on apps and computer programs, right? So it's hard to keep a kid's attention anymore, right? Especially with a seminar like this. So she said she's going to like high schools and doing this full student body. What do they call it? Like in the auditorium, like a whole
assembly.
Assembly, right? Remember when you're back at school and you had like the student assembly and everybody, the whole school filed into the big auditorium.
Yeah, like,
so that's what she's doing, and she's got like super energy. So she's like walking back and forth around the stage and doing her presentation up on the screen and showing all her job sites and stuff. But the thing that was cool about this technology now and how it's very smart, how she's implying, using it to for the kids, implementing it with the kids, is that she's managing to keep their attention because you'll put the goggles on and she'll walk them through a wood shop, which, by the way, very little schools have a wood shop class or metal shop class or any kind of shop class in schools anymore, which I was like horrified to hear this. Like even my own son now, as he's coming up to junior high school and high school, he's a senior now getting ready to graduate. But even like the last few years of his schooling, I said, you taking wood shop, you're taking metal. I took all those classes.
Yeah, me too.
And they're not even available.
But he got home ec.
Well, yeah, you'll get home, you get computer programming, and you get all the other stuff. But a lot of these places don't even have I had a full blown wood shop. We could make furniture and build shit.
I made the numbers in my metal shop to put on my house, like the house number.
Yeah, man, like how cool is that? And I can remember doing that like in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, all the way through junior high school, like building this great stuff in metal shop and learning how to use welders and spot welders and all things. So like I had a very good understanding of how tools worked, even if I wasn't fortunate enough to be raised by a family that did all that stuff, right? Any kid had the opportunity to really get interested and fuel their passion and want to, move forward and learn more. And when they got out of school, maybe go to a vocational school and learn a trade. But that doesn't exist really anymore. So now you can take this technology. They can walk through her workshop. And like, say you stick your hand out, it'll see your hand come out, and in this goggle, and like you can point at or touch the table saw in the shop, and now all of a sudden in the goggles will pop up
I said that.
Yeah, for for the saw. But now now they can go online. Now it kicks in where they're used to doing, right? So now, because the kid is never going to get to walk through that shop, but now they get a pop up on a table saw. Oh, what's this? And then they check out what the table saw does. So it's a cool way to integrate the technology and get them interested in something that's almost like ancient anymore.
Yeah, and she's very young and energetic, and she's fun. So I think that having somebody cool talk about something like that might pique their interest a little bit more. Yeah. So I that's very cool. And she also had this other very, very fucking cool thing. She has what's it called, infrared?
It's a thermal imaging camera.
Yeah. So the kind of thing that the house inspectors use to see in your walls and see the heat and all that stuff. But this one is like the size of a couple of quarters, and you attach it to your iPhone, and it turns your iPhone into one of those things. Yeah, well, most thermal imaging cameras are really priced strictly for pros. They start out at $3-4 grand, and they go up to $11,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get a decent one. And they really can do some amazing things. And this is like the technology that the military uses, the police use, to seek out people,
in the dark, and they have it up on their helicopters and things like that. You've all seen images of thermal stuff. So this camera actually is really cool because it's $299. You guys can go online and check it out. The company that makes it is called Seek, S-E-E-K. And the guys who started this company actually were the inventors of the people who started out FLIR, which is really like probably the #1 infrared thermal camera out there on the market. They make it for the military. They make it for everyone. They have a super high-end camera, but nobody can afford it. So this is something that even like a homeowner can get. It's the coolest thing. You plug it right into your phone.
Skip went around our entire house, and he looked at every nook and cranny with this camera.
It's so cool because, I mean, it's a useful thing for a lot of different reasons. I mean, people use it for everything. But, just from the point of doing inspections, like home inspections, you can see moisture in the walls. You can detect like where a leak's coming from. You can see where you're losing heat in and out of around the window.
We were able to find the cat under the blankets because there was a hot spot on the bed.
It's very, very cool. And you can do a lot of different adjustments on this camera. So you can change the contrast on it. You can set the thermal imaging thermometer on this thing.
It detects
read
reflections
only above a certain temperature. So everything, let's say we set it for like 85 degrees, it's not going to register like every temperature in the spectrum to every color of the rainbow like you'll see in a lot of thermal imaging. It'll only register. So you see everything like in black and white and then like in orange.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. But another great use for this camera, and we used it on Catch a Contractor when we were filming that show, because what we found is that when contractors will come into people's homes and they tell them one thing, and then
what you do is you look at their head with this thing, and if it gets a certain color, you know that they're lying.
Yeah. This camera really, like if I were to go into someone's home with a camera like this, I can show them without opening up the walls. I can show them what the framing looks like, because you can actually point this thing at the wall and I can see every stud. I can see the headers going across windows and doors. I can set it to see the composition of what's in the wall. Like we can see there's insulation in the wall if there isn't. I can see where there's plumbing pipes, electrical wires. It's just the craziest, coolest thing. It's almost like having X-ray vision.
What I actually thought it would be cool for is, say, if you lose a pet, you can go outside in the daytime or in the complete darkness, and it will detect, like if you're walking through the woods, it will tell you where there are animals hiding. You'll be able to see things that are warm. And if you're also like searching someplace, like if you bust open a door and you're executing a warrant, when it's dark or you got your flashlight or whatever, you can also find people hiding.
Yeah.
And
well, we already talked about the black light that you use on your job to find all sorts of other interesting stuff.
Yeah. Cooties.
Biological matter.
Yeah. Really
So
nasty.
yeah, this camera was very cool. Check it out. And what was even effing cooler was that I said to her, I go, wow, this thing is great. I need to get one of these. She goes, it's yours. And I was like,
she gave it to you.
I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I know. Because as soon as she started using it, my brain was going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get one of these.
Yeah.
How am I going to get one of these? I got to hurry up.
Because I'm like, I'm a tool like addict. So anything that's like can like just change the game and do something cool, like I want it. I have to have it. So I'm holding this thing in my hand, and now I plug it into my phone. I'm walking around the house. And I'm checking out every wall, every floor. I'm looking at heat loss and look at what's going on around this window. And there's so many cool applications. Even as someone who's not like on the job and doing what I do, you can do a lot of stuff around your house with it. Like you could find moisture problems if you have like a leak in the roof, if you have plumbing issues. There's so much stuff you can do. Like if you're wondering why you're having, your heating bill is so high, take this camera and walk around your house, and you will see where all the cold spots are.
If your heating bill's very high, then spend the $300 and get the camera
it's
and
really
figure out where it's coming from.
It's just a very cool thing. And you know what? If you don't want to do any of the home inspection shit, you could just have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's just a really cool thing to have.
Speaking of using the phone for something cool.
Other than porn,
there is, oh my God, Senator Schumer is trying to get this thing banned. There is a new gun, and it looks just like a smartphone. It looks exactly like the iPhone. And
really?
It's a double barrel. Check
this
shit out. Yeah, check this out.
Let me see this. Get the hell out of here.
That's a gun.
Are you serious?
Yep. And people are already ordering them.
What does it shoot? What caliber bullets does it shoot?
It says that 380 caliber double barrel handgun.
380 to 38 caliber. That's a big bullet. That's like,
and it's only $400.
Well, anything that is considered a firearm like that you need to have a license, whether it's in the shape of a gun or not, it's still going to be illegal to own in a state that you need to have a permit to carry.
Yeah, but the thing is, with a thing like this, is that it could be gotten into places because security will overlook it thinking it's a phone. You know what I mean? Like, people will think you have a phone in your pocket.
And why don't we have one of these?
I know. I want to place the order. I got to see what Schumer's doing with this.
We need to add that to the collection.
Schumer said that any deliberately disguised weapon is illegal under the National Firearms Act, and called on the Department of Justice and alcohol, tobacco, and firearms to investigate the gun maker. So, it's obvious why it's illegal, but I think it would be cool for the good guys to have.
Yeah, okay. So I mean,
but not the bad guys.
So thinking of like people like us that own weapons and that you have weapons legally and you have a license, and obviously you're a law enforcement. So, I mean, can you obtain this weapon legally?
People are already ordering it online.
Okay, like you would do with any other handgun, you'd have to, have a license, and then once you get it, you have to take it to the police department and register and add it to your.
Yeah, you don't have to take it to. Well, yeah, you do it at the gun shop.
You need to get a purchase order, right?
You go to the gun shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they register it with the police.
Yeah. Right. So that's pretty heinous.
Wow.
Yeah, that's scary. Looks just like a
phone. So for people that don't know, Senator Schumer is in what state?
Oh God, New York. He's been our senator forever.
Right.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And this, I guess, is something that's going to be a pretty big issue.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so if you notice that your kid's walking around shooting things with his iPhone, now you'll know why.
Yeah. So I don't know if people recall that we were talking about, I think about 2 episodes ago, the friend of yours that was getting leads from Home Advisor.
Yeah.
We actually found out some more information this past weekend from some other people. And all I'm going to say, people, is that when you get reviews online for websites, don't always assume that they're from real people leaving real reviews.
Right. So similarly, when you tweet someone, a celebrity or whoever, a sports person or whatever, and they write back to you, you don't necessarily know if it's actually them writing back to you because they might have a whole team of people that do their social media. Just use your imagination and apply that to things. So reviews on things that we're finding, and we have gotten information from people that on both sides of it that actually work internally, and also people that are contractors that pay to be part of that get those leads.
Yep.
It's interesting to see what's happening with some of these companies. And for me, on the other side of that, being a contractor, I'm all for anything that's going to get people the right guy and get them a right job, because that makes all of the rest of us look good, rather than like the people that you see on our show that really give good contractors a bad name. So if there's something out there that helps people through that process, because let's face it, most people are lazy. They don't want to do their homework. They don't want to go online and check someone's license and ask for the referrals and call the referrals and the whole thing that I tell, the whole 10 steps that I tell people to do, that I preach at all these trade shows that I go and do seminars and stuff. A lot of people aren't going to take the time to do it, and ultimately they wind up getting burned. So if there's a service out there that can do a lot of that legwork for you, and kind of like a dating service, so to speak, between the homeowner and the contractor, I say great. But what we're finding is that a lot of these things, and I'm not necessarily pointing only at home environment.
We're not saying anybody in particular.
I'm not saying directly. I'm just saying that there is no substitute for you doing your own investigation and due diligence when hiring anyone to do any act in your house, any type of service in your house. Whether it's a general contractor or you're going to have someone come and service your plumbing, heating system, whatever it is. Do your research and make sure that you know exactly who's coming to your house. And don't only take what the advisory or the website tells you.
We found out very specifically that there is a company, or maybe more than one, that very specifically hires staff to create usernames and give false reviews. That's scary.
They're not necessarily false in that they're lying, but they're fabricated.
Fabricated is lying. Yeah. It's based upon nothing. So, and similarly, I also saw on Amazon that there are companies that, I didn't see it on Amazon, I was doing some online research about it, that there are companies that offer reviews in exchange for money. Like, you can buy like 25 favorable reviews on your product that you're selling on Amazon, and it's like $500, and for like $2,500 you can get like 200 reviews, and like you can buy
this
reviews.
This is what's going on with technology. Technology is great in the sense that we now have access to so much thing, just a touch of our fingers. But it also makes way for people to manipulate that technology and now find a way. There's always going to be somebody out there figuring out a way to make a buck on some sort of scam.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is don't always trust in the reviews that you're reading.
Yeah. And this company even offered, if it was like less than $50, then that would also include them buying the product, because as Amazon now has a thing where it says verified purchase, verified Amazon purchase. So this particular company, if it was under a certain amount of money, they would also purchase your product so that they would get the verified on the review.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Scary.
I think one of the only really truly reliable sources of reviews is Amazon. Amazon is actually
is me as a reviewer.
Well, yes, because basically you buy every freaking product under the sun. Thank you very much. FedEx, UPS, United Postal Service, and every other delivery service are basically all on first name basis with both of us, because they leave a 10-foot pile of shit on our front porch every single day. Yeah. Because even if you just want to, let's see what that looks like.
You know what? Speaking of which, we have an Amazon banner on our website, hammerandnailspodcast.com. If you guys find yourself want to shop at Amazon, if you guys could go to our website first, hammerandnailspodcast.com, we have an Amazon link right there. If you could click on it and go to Amazon through our link, what it does is it gives us a little bit of a teeny tiny commission for referring you there, because that helps us pay towards the cost of making the podcast, because there are lots of expenses involved.
Yeah, we appreciate that, guys. And, of course, there's no extra cost to you, but it definitely helps us out.
Yeah, so we thank you for that. Also, Amanda's working on the website right now, so it's been up and down, meaning, like working, not working, because she's been taking it offline and fixing things and changing things. So it's going through. It's getting a facelift.
The website, there's a lot. I mean, every day the thing is changing, and I have to say it's pretty impressive. I'm impressed with our website, because there's such a lot of cool things on there to see. Yeah. And
it's getting a facelift. So if it looks funky when you get on there, like it's under construction still, because I didn't want it to be down while she's working on it the whole time. So she put it back up while she's working on it, but it's getting worked on, and she's doing a nice job. And then we're going to start tweaking. So if you guys see something,
there's all sorts of direct clicks now that you can purchase stuff, and links to everything you can imagine, and just a lot of cool stuff. You can subscribe to the podcast right there from the player. There's a lot of great stuff going on.
I also got some good news today.
So exciting.
I got some good news.
Good.
Yeah, that there's a couple of different companies that want to make TV shows with me.
Yes, that's true. We told you there's going to be some big announcements coming up. So there's a lot of cool things in development right now, a lot of cool stuff in the works. And, we're always thinking of things that we can do to
expand our horizons.
To expand and just kind of use the platform that we have. We're very fortunate to be on such a great show with Catch a Contractor and really reach millions of people around the world. And how can we kind of expand on that and continue doing stuff and continue things that's going to be relevant content and helping people and kind of doing good with what we're doing. So right now there seems to be this big interest in you, Mrs. Bedell.
I know. I was thinking we're going to get a phone call and it's all going to be like, oh, so we want Skip. We like Skip. And then a couple things came in for me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
I wasn't expecting that.
You know what? There's really not, if you think about it, I mean, you're the real deal, right? Which is cool about our show, because we're, unlike a lot of other shows, so-called unscripted and reality shows, it's they're overproduced or whatever, but we do exactly what you see us do on the show. We do it on and off the camera when we're filming the show and when we're not. So, you are the real deal. You are in law enforcement every day. You're also a licensed private investigator. This is what you do. You live and breathe it every day, and you're damn good at what you do. And let's face it, you're a sexy bitch. So,
I don't know about all that. Gotta stop eating cookies.
You're fun to look at. You need to stop eating the damn cookies that you make, because those cookies are a little too good. Yeah. But at least they're healthy cookies. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of interest, and really for good reason, because if you think about it, I mean, the crime is big right now on TV. Everybody loves the 48 Hours and the true crime and the Discovery ID and so many of these shows. But there's really not that I can recall any very strong personality female hosts of these shows that are really in the biz. That really are. They're not just a host, an actor or whatever, right? Yeah. They're a celebrity personality. There's someone really doing this, and you're out there, and this is what you do. So
it's nice to see that people are reaching out, because and they are, because they know that what I do is really what I do, and it's not just like a role. And I actually have more interest in doing something that is going to be helpful to the world somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to do something productive. I don't give a shit about being on TV. I don't care. Like, I'm not one of those, like, I have to be on TV.
It's not about being on TV. It's not
No.
about making money. It's more about you have a platform
Exactly.
that you can reach a huge audience and actually send a message that, like with Catch a Contractor, there's great takeaways. And one of the most rewarding things that we find about being on this show, and by the way, reality TV, you don't make a whole lot of money in. Okay, so one of the most rewarding things for us is that people every day thanks us for the things that they learned watching our show, and that saying to us, we're about to buy our first home, or we're just going to hire a contractor, and we learned so much watching your show, things to do and what not to do. Because that, for us, has really been a big message. This is what you should not do unless you want to wind up on our show. We don't want any of you on our show.
Yeah.
So
I like being able to say that we did something to help people, and that we were helping victims, and we also were teaching people how to avoid getting into trouble.
But what better way to reach the masses than on television?
Right, right.
So,
So it's not about trying to be like famous or I got to be on TV. Like some people will just do anything to be on TV. Like just watch like the Today Show. People like are on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? And they stand behind the hosts who are talking, and it's like they're waving. It's like I'm on TV. Like so what?
You know what? It's cool. We've done it now for a number of years now. We've had great experiences, and they continue all the time. And every day, it's a new adventure for us. But I got to say, the most rewarding thing for me is have been able to help people and also to reach a massive amount of people that they can also be helped. So that to me is the message. And by the way, the reason why the show is so successful and our ratings are very high is that it's the authenticity, right? So you can tell that you can't make certain things up. I mean, you can't just script certain things. And the stuff that goes on our show, especially, there'd be no possible way for that to be scripted. We'd have to be like, Academy Award-winning actors to be able to pull that stuff off.
And then we'd be getting scripted stuff and getting a lot of money.
So, I know. We'd actually be getting paid. What the fuck? Wouldn't that be cool? So, authenticity, especially in the unscripted space, is few and far between these days. And I think that, you especially, you're the real deal. So anybody's going to be making a show that wants to be in the authenticity business right now, which is the place to be, especially with all the digital content coming out right now. Let's face it, digital is like really making a big move, and everybody wants a piece of that content.
Yeah.
So Netflix and Hulu and everybody coming up through Apple TV, and everybody is like all of a sudden getting interested in all this content that's been existing on cable for
somebody in our production
now.
company told us over a year ago, we were out to lunch, and he said to us that there was the cable as it is with all our different programming is coming to an end. He said it is all going to end because of the expansion of digital programming and things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, where you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's scaring everybody in the industry because what the biggest thing was getting ratings for advertisers, and the advertising was what pays for the programming.
I don't know that it's coming to an end, but it's certainly being forced to get with the times, right? Because the old time programming methods of network television has been the same for a very long time,
and it's been a monopoly. You don't have any choice over who your cable provider is.
So all this digital outlet now to so many places that people can watch their content a la carte. They can buy just what they want. They don't have to have the whole package. It's obviously very appealing. So there's a lot of new venues and there's a lot of new places, but it's also kind of reshaping the place that we live in on the cable networks and stuff, which is kind of cool too, because, it's a revamping and everybody wants great content. So we're in a good position in the sense that, authentic people are not always that easy to find. So anyway, the phone's ringing, and
so
it's
nice.
cool because they are calling you to do exciting stuff. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I hope to do something good.
Yeah.
Something of quality and something that is going to help people.
Yeah.
Or
whoever. It's like anything else. It's like, you hear the saying, it's like, do what you love and the success and everything else will follow, right? So the key is doing something that you're passionate about. Don't go into any career with the idea of, what money that you're going to make or, what status you're going to earn from it. Do what you love, and all that stuff will come.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really what we're about.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows we're not making any money. So
word up, people. You have no clue. So we got
maybe a little bit, but not much.
not enough to go around bragging about.
Yeah.
But Adam
we're
got
helping a lot of
Adam did well.
We're
I'm
helping
sure.
a lot of people. Though. Yeah. Well, we don't make any money because Corolla sucks up the whole talent
Exactly.
budget. Corolla's like a vacuum on the talent budget.
Yeah.
We're basically like, well, we're going to pay you whatever's left over after Adam gets done with our checkbook.
Yep. So
we love the Ace Man, though, and it's very cool being able to work with him because let's face it, he's got a huge following and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I got some really nice email, and don't forget it's Tip Tuesdays.
Tip Tuesday!
So I've got some other questions to ask you.
Oh, cool.
But there's also some for me. I just wanted to read this really quick letter. We have some fucking awesome fans. There's this one chick, Carrie Stratton, who sent a letter. She's written before a couple times, but she wrote the nicest letter. She said, I want to tell you that I listen to many podcasts, and yours is my favorite. I love listening to Allison's work interviews and all of her what the fuck moments. Thank you for taking the time to talk about the oatmeal because I've made it for my family and we love it. By the way, everybody, I put it on the website look under my name on the website. It says recipes. It's there. So she had a question about organic, if we eat organic. No, not everything. I'm more about the gluten-free. Skip and I try to eat healthy, but it's not. It's hard to be perfect. It's really it's like another job. It's like such a chore to buy every perfect thing, and it's also more expensive.
Yeah, we will definitely eat the food that is the lower content of fat and salt and sugar and everything else. We don't buy everything organic, but a lot of times the organic choices are better than some of the others.
Yeah.
But we're not. I wouldn't say that we are exclusively organic because certainly we're not.
I try to
but
grow
definitely very
things.
health-minded, though.
Yeah, I don't like I grow vegetables in the summer, and I use the type of soil that doesn't have chemicals in it. I use all the natural organic things to fertilize, and I don't use any chemicals in the food that we grow and eat. And because I don't want to eat chemicals if I can avoid it, I try to avoid getting processed foods. There's some lists of food online.
It's like the worst, by the way. So if you're reading
Kraft
stuff that's
macaroni and cheese,
highly processed, and check out
Velveeta.
the sodium count. You can always tell when things are highly processed because they have an enormous sodium count.
Yeah.
Don't eat stuff with a lot of sodium in it because it's not good for a lot of different reasons. Blood pressure, obviously, and all the other things that come along with hypertension and everything else that happens as a result of eating high salty foods.
There are some things also that if you can go online and find that not all the fruit needs to be organic because nature protects it from things like, for example, bananas. You don't have to get organic bananas because the peel, which is so thick and it protects the whole fruit on the inside, you don't need to get an organic banana. The banana is already protected by its own peel.
Wow, who knew?
Yeah, no, you do. Now I just told you.
All right. I have a very interesting organic banana for you as well that I will be happy to share with you when this podcast is over. I too have a thick peel.
I also have. I know you do. I'm just going to ignore that also. And also thank you, Carrie, for ordering from Amazon. She also said she orders from Amazon with our banner. We really, really, really appreciate that because we do see the results of that. It helps so much. With that in mind, I also do have a tip to give after you're done with your tips because I've been getting emails from ladies who also want some tips.
Oh, cool.
So they're not going to get your tip, but I'm going to give them a tip.
No.
It's Tip Tuesday, and
It's Tip Tuesday.
Tip Tuesday! When helping people with their homes, they call Skip Bedell.
You want to avoid a headache and save money, he's the man to talk to. Skip Bedell.
Richard Sullivan said that he's got a granite countertop that has developed a crack right in front of the sink. He's enclosed a couple pictures here.
Let me see that picture.
There is just this crack. I've never seen anything like that on a countertop.
Wow. Okay.
It's like a fault line. It's like the San Andreas
Yeah.
fault across his kitchen.
It runs like lengthways.
The whole
lengthways
counter.
along the counter, right at the edge of the sink, the thin piece
Like an
of
inch
stone
away
that's
from the
in
edge.
front of the sink. Wow. Okay, so is that like the result of some seismic activity in your kitchen? Or what?
Yeah, what the hell is
The
that?
San Andreas fault on your countertop?
Yeah, it goes the other direction too.
All right, so there are some things that you can do, different resins and multi-part epoxies that you can use to repair cracks in stone products. We recommend some of those things to repair cracks in concrete, in foundations, slabs, and foundation walls, and you can also use that to repair cracks in a product like this. So the stone company that installed that stone, I don't know if you were present when that happened, if you bought the house with that granite or not, but what you can do, they always carry, like my stone guys, they carry a full color spectrum. It almost looks like an artist's palette of paints, but they are epoxies that they carry with them that when they seal the separations, the joints between the counter slabs, they will put an epoxy in there and they will match it to the color of the stone. So some of those epoxies can be injected into a crack like that. Well, they will do a crack repair with almost like a syringe. They will custom mix up some color epoxy and inject it into that crack. Now, it's kind of hard to tell from looking at the picture, if the crack goes all the way through from side to side, and if it does, I don't know how you're actually keeping that remaining stone in place. But I would imagine by now as well, because of the location, you probably have gotten a lot of moisture and everything else in there, which may present a problem with that epoxy taking place. And setting up in there. But the epoxy is going to be your best bet because that stuff gets hard as stone and it's super, super strong. Of course, it's going to be hard to hide a crack of that size, so you're probably going to still see some evidence, but it will hold it together. That would be in lieu of, replacing the whole countertop, which I would, if you could afford to do that, I would suggest replacing that piece. But that, I think, is your only solution for repairing that crack.
Okay.
There you go.
This guy, Michael Estridge, he had actually a question about the show. He said, I figured we'd throw that in there because he did ask the question. Okay. He said that it seemed that the Floyds tried to scam the show. He said, if I remember correct, he accused the contractor of a lot of things that turned out to be lies. Why would Spike basically buy this guy renovation? So what we're going to tell you without actually putting ourselves in a position of getting sued, because everybody is lawsuit happy, we're just going to let you know that in general, people like things fixed for free. Yeah. And sometimes people have differences of opinion. But I think that episode really spoke for itself.
Yeah, there isn't a lot more to say than what you saw. We were in a situation to where, about halfway through that fix, we realized that the story wasn't exactly what had been presented to us, without getting into too much detail and, of course, without putting ourselves in any legal liability position. But we also had to make a call on the fact that there was a child there living at that house, and we're talking about a second-story deck that had no railing on it. It was a very dangerous situation for a lot of different reasons. Other than just aesthetically, it looked horrible and the job wasn't finished.
And we didn't know all those details that we found out later on until later on, so we had already started.
At this point, it's like, okay, do we continue and do the right thing, which we did. And we really can't say a whole lot more other than that. But our show always
I will tell you that those people were not nice.
Yeah, well, listen.
They were complainers.
Everybody has, a different opinion on everything. You can basically watch the episode and judge for yourself.
What you see is what you get.
What I can tell you is that, our show will continue to maintain integrity and always do the right thing by the homeowner that we're trying to help. So in that case, it was the right thing to do to finish the job. So.
You got to finish what you started. You can't go in there and
right. People ask us all the time, well, why would you do it? And
because we started it.
Yeah, I will not. I wouldn't put my name on anything that was started and not finished. So of course, and making those decisions are above my pay grade. Of course, we work with the network and everything else along those things. But all I can really say about that is that we were always in a position to do the right thing, and on that episode, as on others, that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that guy's wife, Mrs. Floyd, was in the, I think she was in the television industry.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is that, when you're put in a position to when you can do the right thing or leave things as they are, sometimes, even though it's the harder thing to do, you do the right thing. And that's what we did.
Yeah. All right. As you can see, Skip's the nicer of the two. And the more diplomatic. You want to know what people really like? Ask me.
I've been doing this a long time.
He's the nice one.
On and off camera. And I can tell you that, it always pays to get stuff done the right way. And sometimes I've even been on jobs where I had to just eat it because some customers, not even to do with this show, even just my own customers, I've had people that I've done business with for years, and then they're just out of the blue. They just want to get over, or that's in their nature.
Take advantage.
There are some people that it's just in their nature. So not referring to the Floyds or anyone else in particular, people like that exist, and you have the opportunity to do the right thing, finish the job, and walk away, and know that I'm not going to work with them again.
Yeah.
But I can leave that job and say, I finished the job, and regardless, I can walk away with a clear conscience. And to me, being able to sleep at night is more important than anything. It's more important than the bottom line and the paycheck or anything else. So, and that's where you go.
So there's your answer to that. Hope
There
that
you
was
go.
satisfying for you.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah. Okay, John Pergel said that the carpet in his RV is old and needs to be replaced. He's thinking of going with, he said, hardwood laminate, which does not exist exactly as he described. Which is heavier per square foot, laminate or carpet and pad?
Okay. Well,
And then he said, love you fucking fuckers.
oh, well, love you too, fucker.
We fucking love you too, John.
All right, so hardwood and laminate are two different things. First of all, unless we're talking about an engineered hardwood, which is very thick, and that's basically real wood, which is laminated onto plywood. So the bulk of that 3/4 inch piece of flooring, thick piece of flooring, is plywood, and the top surface of it, the last 1/8 inch or so, would be oak or maple or whatever it is you want to do. And that's also a great option if you're doing that in a house because price per foot, it works out great. You don't have to have a secondary person come through for a couple of days and sand and create dust and stain it and seal it and urethane it and all that stuff. You can nail that stuff down in one day and have a finished product because it comes pre-finished. It's also sandable. You can, over time, when the floor needs to be refinished, you can actually sand that down and refinish it as opposed to some other products. On the flip side of that, laminated floor or composite flooring, which is basically made up of like a particle board, for lack of a better description, and it has a imitation wood surface on it, almost like a laminate countertop. It looks like wood, but it's not. No part of it is actually wood. So the nice part about that is that it's thin. It's fairly lightweight in comparison to actual wood. So if we're talking about the pounds per square foot, and I, of course, when you're dealing with anything that's mobile, like an RV, weight is always a relevant factor because it's going to affect your gas mileage. It's going to affect how the vehicle rides and everything else, right? So you don't want to load it up with a bunch of unnecessary weight. Okay, so if you have carpet in there, first of all, I'm not a fan of carpet. We don't have any carpet in our house. I don't really like carpet. I wouldn't have it in my car if I didn't have to, because to me it's just like a dirt magnet.
Yeah.
You get moisture, it gets mildewy, it gets smell. It's just especially like in an RV. You're not like living in that thing every day and vacuuming and shampooing and all that stuff. So carpets tend to hold moisture, and they are many times the source of bacteria and moisture and mildew smells and all that. All right. That being said, let's get to the science of it. The weight of carpet, including the padding that's needed underneath it for installation, and we're assuming that we're talking about a medium pile carpet. We're not putting in like a 70s super thick shag carpet, right? So this is a medium pile, typical carpet with padding, approximately 2 pounds per square foot to install that. Now, if we're talking about a laminate flooring, there are different types. There's a glue down. There's a snap together, which is a floating floor, which is more like what you put in your house, if that's what you're talking about. Both of those products weigh approximately 1.5 pounds per square foot. So it's really, it's almost the same thing. You're talking about 0.5 pound per square foot, not a major difference. However, the vinyl, or the laminate flooring rather, will be much more durable in the sense that you don't have to worry about it getting stained. You don't have to worry about moisture and dirt and all. It's not going to retain odor and everything else. But it's going to be a harder surface to walk on. So you have to weigh that out in what you prefer. Now, an alternative to both of those things might be they make vinyl planking now, which actually my mom just put in her house recently, and it looks really cool. A Traffic Master makes one. It's a 6-inch by 36-inch vinyl planks. They look like wood flooring. When you put this thing down, it actually has a texture to it. It looks like a finished wood floor. And for a vinyl floor, I got to say it's pretty nice. Now, the type that was put down in her house was glued down. it has like a lip that overlaps each piece. So when they're put together, it makes like, almost like a seamless floor, but it's actually separate planks. And it's great because it's super durable. It's like almost indestructible. It holds up to moisture and water, which, by the way, when you're in and out of the campsites and you're playing with the kids and you're doing stuff, in and out of the RV, you're going to be tracking mud and water in that thing. So to me, carpet doesn't really seem like the best option. I don't know. That's not what I would put in there. And I think that the difference in weight for the vinyl flooring is 2.2 pounds per square foot, which is actually weighing in at the heaviest of all those materials. But if it were up to me, I think that's probably what I would choose to put in there, because you can put like a really nice looking wood floor. I mean, they have all different finishes, and it actually looks and feels like wood, and you don't have to worry about damaging it. And the cost is affordable. So look into that, the vinyl planking.
You know what also I wanted to mention is that you can now subscribe to our podcast from our website.
How cool is that, people?
Yeah, there is a thing you can click on there, and you put in your email address and your name, and every time we have a new episode, it'll show up in your email box.
You don't even have to go and look for each individual
Nope,
episode.
you don't have to
look
for it
to you automatically.
Yeah, you don't have to look for it. You don't have to have. Doesn't matter if you have iPhone, Android, desktop, no phone. You just have email.
We'll send it to you in like smoke signals, like the Batman light up in the sky.
Yeah, it's super easy. And not only that, but it's also now available on our Facebook page, on the Hammer and Nails Facebook page. There's a couple of tabs on the page, and one of them says podcast.
Very cool.
You can actually listen to the podcast directly from the Facebook page.
Which I think is very cool, actually, because a lot of people have different types of phones. Like the iPhone is on a different format from the Androids, and it's like, it's always been like, well, we're going to hook it up with RSS, or we're going to listen to it on iTunes. Like, you can actually just go right on the website or on Facebook, I think even from Twitter now, right? And actually click right on the episode and listen to it directly on your device. So, hey, there's my tip of the day, too, how to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Amanda's been helping us out with that. It's every time we have a new episode, it comes out on Twitter and Facebook, Google+, and I think she's putting it in another place. Oh, we're going to have it on YouTube also. We're going to have it on our YouTube channel as well. So it'll make it really easy to find.
How cool.
Yeah. And we also have the PayPal subscription button on our website as well. If you guys feel so inclined, if you like what you're listening to, if you wanted to make a contribution, PayPal will take it automatically from you. Just a couple of dollars a week. $1 an episode is all we're asking for.
$1 an episode?
Yeah. Or if you want to show the love, $10 a month.
Listen, folks, I'm sitting here for like, a couple hours, like coming up with tips and, talking to all you people. So that's not worth $1. You know what?
It helps us just pay for it. And it's not like we're making any money off of this thing. It's actually helping to pay for it because it does cost a lot of money to put it up online.
If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay too. We love you anyway. We're going to keep on doing this thing just because we love you guys. But we really do very much appreciate the support that we get from our listeners. And some people are showing support, or you can click on the show love. And either way, we thank you for that.
We do appreciate it. And don't forget, too, we don't have questions unless you guys ask them. So go on to the Facebook page, go on to Twitter, ask us a question. You don't have to wait for me to put out a post that says, ask us questions. If you guys have anything that you think of, even if you're not somebody that goes online or you're not somebody that wants to write to anybody, if you just have a question, though, about anything home improvement related or otherwise, just write to us because we're really accessible.
It doesn't even have to be home improvement related. I mean,
no, it could be anything because I am chock full of information about baking, about gardening, about therapy and life.
Yeah, I have a generic answer for a lot of different
questions.
Because
really, by nature, my job is very therapeutic. You know what I mean? Like I do have to give a lot of life advice. I'm a counselor by nature on this job.
Yeah.
So
people ask me questions about all different types of things, and I found the universal answer for almost every one of them is 10 inches. Yeah.
You are awesome.
Lumber, material, how and job site measurements. And,
you're awesome, baby.
You can just use your imagination.
Yeah. Well, somebody had already taken the liberty. I'm ignoring that one too. Somebody had already taken the liberty of answering Brian Burdick's question on Facebook, but I'm going to read it out loud anyway for you to answer because we so appreciate that he took the time to write it. So he said, how do I fix a leaking outdoor faucet that is leaking from the handle?
Okay. So, yeah, we actually did have someone that was nice enough to answer that question.
Nice enough. I'm like, dude, get your own podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't say, hey, does anybody know how to do this?
Yeah.
I said,
one of the
this is for a
listeners,
podcast.
Tim, somebody answered the question, right? So, basically, yeah, he did. The answer that he gave was actually somewhat accurate. I want to expand on that, but... So on the outdoor faucet on your house, you're going to see on the top of that faucet there's going to be a little screw, and you can unscrew that. It'll take off the handle on the faucet. Below that will be a nut that you can loosen up, and you'll be able to pull the body of that valve stem out of the valve. On that stem, you'll see a rubber washer or series of rubber washers. Usually, in most cases, it's just one, depending upon the type of valve that it is. But you'll see that black rubber washer. And what happens over time is they just get deformed, they get cracked, they get dried out, especially if you're living in an area that has a big temperature swing from hot to cold. Those things just get destroyed over time from expanding and contracting. And what that will lead to is water slipping past that rubber washer due to cracks or shrinkage or whatever, and you're going to get a drip on your faucet because it's not able to hold the water pressure back anymore. So it's pretty simple to fix that. What one of the listeners has suggested is that you can go out and get a replacement part for it, or if you don't have the replacement part, you can just take the rubber washer off. There's a screw that holds it in place. Take it off, flip it over because it's now warped out of shape. It's like cupped. Flip it over. And temporarily, that'll probably solve your problem because the hard edge will now be back seated into.
But if it's still disintegrated and cracked, it's not a
if
good
it's still
option.
disintegrated and cracked, and you know what, it's going to take a little bit of time to take all this stuff apart. By the way, so my answer is, yeah, that may work, and you know, it might stop the drip temporarily. But if you're going to take the time to get out the tools and go over there and shut off the water, which by the way, you have to shut off the main, right? You got to shut off the water so there's no water leaking out of this thing while you're doing the repair. You're going to take the whole valve apart. If you're going to do all that and you don't have the replacement washer, guess what? Get in your car, run down to the hardware store, pick one up for 15 cents, and come back and change it. Because who wants to do that twice?
Right.
So yeah, while your tip was actually cool and useful, and it might stop the water, if you're going to go to all that trouble, then get your ass in the car and go get the washer and replace it. It's very easy. You can get them at any place, any plumbing supply, any big box store, any hardware store. They all carry them.
Right.
So there you go. There's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Yes. Take that.
Jesse Coker. I've been seeing a lot of Jesse online lately. Thank you for your interaction on Facebook. He said, this is for me. What is a sublime cookie recipe for our KitchenAids? Well, because I just got that amazing kick-ass KitchenAid. Oh, my God. I said 2 episodes ago that I was going to tell people about how I got it actually, I said it online.
You did.
I got the KitchenAid mixer. Okay, so let me just tell you guys the story about this mixer. I decided that I wanted one because once I get my mind set on something, I'm obsessed and I can't stop until I complete the mission.
Oh, my God.
So I decided I'm going to get a mixer because I'm constantly making these cookies and it'll make the job a lot easier, as well as the meatloaf, because the meatloaf is really hard to mix. And I've already talked about Skip. He doesn't do a good job, even though I asked him to just mix it. Like all the meat's like unstirred on the bottom.
Well, there's 6 pounds of meat in a giant bowl that I'm mixing with a spoon. And
it's fork. Like, it's a giant fork.
Yeah,
anyway.
Try turning 6 pounds of meat.
Yeah, that's why I give it to you, muscle man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I can do it,
but you don't. You do a shitty job.
It's not up to your standards.
You mix the meatloaf just as good as you wash dishes.
Guess what? It tastes just as damn good.
No, not after you get done with it. Anyway, okay, so I wanted a KitchenAid mixer because they're the best. And now there's a ton of varieties. There's a ton of colors. There's different styles. So I went onto the Best Buy website to see the different types of models because I wasn't sure what the differences were amongst them. So off the top of my head, there's like the regular model. There's an artisan model, which comes in like different crazy cool colors. There's something else in between there. And then the top of the line is the professional 600.
I got news for you. My solution to this whole problem, I don't mean to cut you off, but Tim the Toolman Taylor from Tool Time, I mean, you can just go out in my trailer. You can get the big old Milwaukee hole hog, which is what I use to cut holes in giant studs for electrical and plumbing and all that. Put your whip in the bottom of that thing, and that will mix up 35 pounds of meat. All right? So
first of all, smart guy. The whip is a certain type of attachment that is good for certain types of batters. It's for when you want to aerate something, like something that has eggs or maybe a cake mix, or you want to make cream, like whipped cream. Not everything requires the whip.
You put it into this drill, it's going to mix it for you.
Okay. Anyway, so I decided that I needed the professional model because the professional, the 600, accommodates 5 or 6 quarts. And that's the biggest size that they offer in the bowl for these KitchenAid mixers. The smaller ones are like the 4 or 4.5 quart bowl size. So right off the bat, I knew I needed the 600. So now those things are like $350, $400 and up. They're very expensive because of the quality. They're very good. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend that much money because it's ridiculous. It's a lot of money. We're buying things for our remodel right now. So I put my mind to finding things on sale. How am I going to get this thing cheaper? I looked on Craigslist. I'm checking the Let Go app. I'm looking to see if somebody's selling one. And then it occurred to me that about 12 years ago, I bought this Nespresso cappuccino maker on Overstock.com. And at the time, this is before Nespresso really blew up and like they're selling them all over the place. They sell them in Target now. This is like when they were like the exclusive.
Before Danny DeVito and George Clooney are doing a commercial film?
Yes, right? Exactly. Yes. This is way before they were even like commercials for them. It was just like a very expensive, proprietary exclusive line. So I had purchased one on Overstock. It was a refurb. And I think I got it for like $150. They were normally like $400 machines.
It's refurb from the factory.
Yes, factory refurb. Bought it on Overstock. We still have it. It's on our kitchen counter right now. 12 years later, we're still making espresso. It works perfect.
Cappuccino, all that. Right?
Yeah, it's flawless. There's no problems with it whatsoever.
That's a nice cup of coffee.
Yes, and it is. So I put my mind to the refurb. I said, because we even got that upstairs indoor air conditioner.
Yeah.
That thing's also a refurb. Works great. When they're factory refurb, you can pretty much, it's like they replace everything. It's like new. So I looked on Overstock and I saw that they had a number of the 600 professional models in various colors for $250. Awesome. I was like, that is a great price for that machine. $250 is about what the lowest model of the KitchenAid costs. So I had a 12% off coupon in my email for Overstock. I applied the coupon and it made it down to $220, which I was very excited about. But I still wasn't happy because I said, I know I can get this down more somehow. So then this is where the genius comes in.
The bargain hunter.
This is where the genius of me comes in.
Well, this is where the private investigator in you kicks in because you will keep hunting and hunting until you find the answer.
Yeah. So 12% was the best coupon code that was available online when I'm about to purchase this thing. But I had to find a way to get it even cheaper. So I came up with the bright idea to make my own sale. And the way that I do that is I had actually put online a couple of months ago, I had purchased a gift card from cardcash.com, and it's like making your own sale. I think I bought a home goods gift cards. There's this thing called Brad's Deals that I get in my email every day. They give you like these big sales on the internet, like they let you know about it. And this Card Cash was having a sale, like an extra 5% off of all of the gift cards on their website. So
by the way, for someone like you who is like a shopaholic, that's like a junkie going to a playground and saying, "Hey kid, you want some?" It's like you go into like up to a person who does drugs and say, "Here, you want some of this?" Right? So them sending you that coupon is like now you have to buy something,
right? Because I bought
you get like 20 of those emails a day, so it's like there's no possible way that you can go through one day without spending money.
Right.
Yeah. No.
So
yeah, it's not good though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went and I had gotten like a home goods gift card for like 20% off. So it's like if I buy a $100 gift card, it cost me $80. So I'm looking on Card Cash and Raise.com, and they had like maybe I think like 6% for Overstock.com, and it still wasn't like I'm like it took a little bit off, which is more than nothing, but I kept looking, and then I found a seller on eBay who was selling Overstock.com gift cards at 85%, meaning for a $100 gift card, it would cost me $85. So I bought 2 of them, which automatically gave me $30 more off of the cost of the mixer. So I ended up getting it for $190.
Which is normally like what, a $400?
$400 plus dollars. I got $190 for the professional, and the one that we got looks like it's cast iron. It's like this matte black finish, but it looks like cast iron. It's very fucking cool.
It's real cool.
It will look amazing in our new kitchen.
Yeah, it's going to go actually with the whole theme of like industrial rustic looking that we're going. So
yeah, so I'm
I won't
so
mind having that
psyched.
thing out on the countertop, which typically I will say, put all that crap in the cabinets, but that thing actually I'll let stay out.
Yeah, great.
It's like a big power tool.
Yeah,
for
so
the kitchen.
Yes, it's my power tool.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm right away made like 4 batches
you
of
have a few
cookies.
other power tools actually, but they're not in the kitchen.
So anyway, what my point is that you can make your own sales by going to getting these gift cards either on eBay or by going to the Card Cash or Raise. I'm not like endorsing them, like nobody's paying me to say, but that's what I've done. I use those websites. I've never had a problem. I've gotten perfectly good gift cards, and you get the kind that you can get it right in your email. So when I bought this thing on eBay, it took me about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and both the gift cards showed up in my email with a gift card number and a PIN number, and I was able to make that purchase online right away.
Yeah, so the 10 minutes that you invested saved a crap load of money.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, it's worth it.
Yeah, so excited.
That's kind of cool that you said that you made your own sale, which I guess essentially is what you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
very
pretty
happy
cool.
about that. Thank you, baby.
You're pretty smart there.
Thank you, honey.
Not bad for a hot-looking chick.
Oh. Okay. Jessie Grace said, besides getting on your knees and pulling it out,
Whoa.
how can you safely, without pesticides, get rid of grass that has grown in your garden over the winter? Jessie, get on your fucking knees, you lazy ass, and pull out the grass that has grown in your garden over the winter.
Yeah, if you try to use weed killer in your garden, you're going to kill everything else too. So
Yeah, get closer to your mic, my love.
Get out of there.
Yeah,
get the grass out.
Yeah, there's really no way to do gardening without getting dirty unless you hire somebody to do it for you. There just really isn't. You can do preventative things. You can put down the weed preventer plastic, and eventually weeds pop through. Eventually it's just you got to get dirty. Really, there's just some things you have to do manually because some of those things like those grasses or even crabgrass, they end up spreading seed at some point if you don't get them out and pull them out. And then for the next season, you'll end up having more of those things grow, getting out of control. So you need to pull them out.
Man, those things just
Yes. You got to,
fuzzy shit that blows across the lawn.
Yeah, pull it out.
Next thing you know, your whole lawn is covered with dandelion.
Right. Pull it out. Pull it out, dude.
Get dirty, man.
Get dirty. Okay. Lawrence Fiedler said, they live in a house that sits on earth, no slab or foundation. The west part of their house is sinking. They don't have the money to fix it.
Wow. Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah, well, I think with the latter part of that question implies, dude, you're fucked.
Yeah, well, I hate to say it like that, but if your house, I mean, obviously you have a very old house, and there was periods of times when they built on, stone, brick, just rocks basically scattered on the ground. We're talking like, back where there were some properties here that I've actually worked on some historical homes that were built in like the 1600s and 1700s, and there's no real foundation under these houses. Some of them are built like on timbers on the ground. Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable how they built some of these things. So if that's the case, that's what you have, and you have no footings and no foundation and not even a slab under this thing, and you're sinking into the ground, obviously it's no surprise. But if it's existed that long, you're probably lucky that you have it that long because the wood is making contact with the ground, and it's kind of a miracle if you think about it that the whole thing hasn't been eaten by carpenter ants or termites. And
why'd you buy the house, dude? Holy crap.
Well, there must have been some appealing factor there, but I can't imagine that you had a home inspection because if they told you there's no foundation, you probably would have run the other way. Anyway, any solution that you have there is probably going to require some money. If you want to look into doing some DIY with that, at the very least, you can try to, I don't know if you have any kind of crawl space or anything underneath that, but you can bust out the old bottle jack and get it underneath the house that's sagging and jack that thing up and block it up. Similar to like what they do when they cradle houses, when they jack them up and lift them and they stagger timbers underneath the house to cradle it. If you don't have the money to actually get foundation underneath that house, there's other things you can do. But I would say that that's probably your best bet if you're going to DIY it. You're going to have to get that thing jacked up somehow if you can't afford to pay someone else to do it. They have helio piles now, which basically are like big screws that they drive into the ground with a machine they'll bring to your house. And it looks like, you ever see the big augers that you screw down into the ground to like attach a dog chain to, right? It kind of looks like that, for lack of a better description. Only it's put down into the ground with a machine that drills it down into the ground. And from that, they can bolt it and bolt that to your structure. Now, those are always bolted to foundations to lift a foundation and stabilize a foundation. It's a great way to do it. People are actually using them to build decks now instead of doing concrete footings. But yeah, it's expensive. It's not super cheap, but it's going to be a lot less money than you paying someone to come in and pour concrete foundations. So you might want to look into heliopiles. You can Google that and just see if there's anyone in your area that's doing it. Helicopiles, Helica, helicopiles. Look into that, and I've never used them. I hear a lot of great things about them, and they've really kind of become a big thing in the last couple of years. I haven't had an occasion to have a lot of experience with them, but I've talked to guys that have had good success with them. And again, they're using them in place of concrete footings, and instead of doing sonotubes and footing walls and things of that nature. So that might be a lower cost alternative for you, but either way, you're going to need to jack up that sagging part of the house and get something underneath there to hold it up. The cheapest alternative is just going to be some sort of, blocks of wood or cement or, cement blocks or whatever it is. But the best way to do that is get some sort of foundation under there. So there you go.
Okay.
I don't have an inexpensive alternative for you, but I think that the helicopiles are going to be probably the cheapest of all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of the question asker. Okay. Melanie Aitken, who, by the way, she is the woman who last year sent us all that amazing homemade candy.
Oh, my God.
With our picture on it.
That was the coolest
Remember
thing.
that?
It had the Hammer and Nails podcast logo on there.
No, it had
Catch Contractor. Yeah, Catch Contractor logo. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that candy was crazy good.
Not only was it so good, but I had actually taken some secretly and put it in a baggie and put it in the refrigerator in a hidden spot. So I would eat a little bit of it, every night. I'd take a bite here, bite there, bite here. I think, and then you discovered it a couple of months ago, the leftover.
I found the bag.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this? I'm looking for some salad dressing or some low-calorie alternative bullshit, and then I come upon this little Ziploc bag of 1,000-calorie squares of chocolate. I'm like,
yeah.
What have we here?
Yeah.
When I proceeded to stuff all of them in my face.
They were so
oh my
good.
God, that was the best chocolate
Yeah, thank
ever.
you so much, Melanie. If you ever felt like sending us some sugar-free versions, that's we won't say no.
I don't even know if that exists.
Yeah, no, she said she makes sugar-free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, send them over.
Yeah. Seriously. Her question is about the range hood that she has. It's really old. It's built into the kitchen, where they're not going to take it out, but It doesn't have the guts. They want to know if there's a way to get a fan and light up in there.
Okay. Well, without seeing that, that's kind of a tough question. But I can say that a lot of those things are somewhat of a standard size. So if you have a unit that's over a 30-inch stove, you're going to have a 30-inch wide range hood and exhaust unit, and similar for 36 and 48 and so on. So what I would do is, I guess you could probably get online and look to see if you can buy the internal portion, the fan body.
They do sell them separately.
Yeah, that goes up inside a 30-inch exhaust hood, and see if it's something you're going to have to kind of retrofit it. You might have to slide that unit up in there and tack it in there with some self-tapping sheet metal screws or some way. And, of course, you're going to have to do some electrical work in there as well to make the connection to actually provide electricity to it. So it's going to take a little bit of work, which you're probably going to want to get an electrician if you're not, very well versed with that. And of course, the other end of that is the whole purpose of the exhaust motor is to exhaust. So if it's not one that recirculates into the kitchen, you're going to have to connect that to the ductwork that hopefully is existing in the wall of the ceiling so the exhaust can actually leave your structure. So it's going to require a little bit of work, but I would say it's probably something you could do. You're going to have to do some investigating and see if you can find a part that you can retrofit into there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Melanie.
Yeah.
Charles,
give it a shot. Send me another picture. Maybe I can come up with some other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charles Rodriguez wants to ask about making shelves. He said he knows he could pick up the supplies at the depot, But is there like any tip that you can give to, like, just for somebody who's never done it before?
Well, I mean, there's a series of different kinds of shelving brackets that you can get, right to like the most basic kind, which we've all seen, where the vertical bracket gets screwed
Like an
to
L?
the wall, and then you have the arms that snap into place that you can put in adjustable levels. And then you can purchase, now those things come in different widths, like a 6-inch shelf wide or an 8-inch wide shelf, and you can get lumber or material. They have melamine and all different materials there in like a Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, usually in that department. Or you can go down to the lumber department and say you get a shelf bracket that's for a 12-inch wide shelf. You can mount those on the wall any width you want on the wall. So you might want to make a 4-foot wide or 5-foot wide shelf, and it's deep off the wall, 12 inches. So you're going to go down to your lumber department, and you're going to get a piece of pine or a piece of melamine or whatever it is that you want to use on there. I would suggest you go with a solid wood rather than something like particle board nature.
Yeah, they always break.
Even though those will come like kind of pre-finished with like a vinyl wrapping on it, but over time they will sag if you put any kind of weight on it. So you're probably going to be better off using
Those things suck.
more of a solid wood. And you can get yourself a nice piece of pine even, or a piece of oak would be a lot more sturdy, but more expensive as well. That's going to be the same dimension, the depth of the shelf bracket.
Now, should he only make sure to get use the studs in the wall, or is there a way that you can put shelves up if you only have sheetrock?
Anytime you're putting shelves on the wall, I always say anchor the rails into the studs, because then you're going to be able to put weight on it and not have to worry about it.
What if it doesn't line up right with the studs on the wall where he wants to put
you
it?
You can locate those rails wherever you want on the wall. I would say it's better off that you locate the studs and you get the rack mounted to that. Now, they do make other shelving units that come in a set, like with the wire shelving units that come with like the snap-in wire shelves. Looks like I don't know what you're talking about. It's like white metal wire, and it looks like a wire shelf.
Oh, yeah.
So they have those things that are kind of like anybody can do, and it's like almost like a tension pole that goes from the floor to the ceiling, and then you can snap in those shelves. They're kind of flimsy, and depending upon what you want to support on this thing.
Ugly.
Yeah, if you want to organize stuff, I don't know if you're talking about doing it in your garage or someplace. I mean, it also depends on what you want it to look like. If you want the thing to look nice, then you can build something nice if you have the skills and the time and the tools. If not, then maybe you just want to get like a prefab, like a pre-made shelf unit. You can get stuff like, they're not very expensive. Something like IKEA or even like at Depot or Lowe's, they have in the storage departments, they have already pre-made, pre-finished shelving units that look halfway decent. Anything from metal to wood, all different materials that you could probably get for like under $100. And you can store all kinds of stuff on it.
Word.
So, I think it's going to kind of be up to you how handy you are, what type of tools you have, and how much time you're willing to invest into it. If you're like none of the above, you may just want to go and buy something and like stick it on the wall. Yeah. And the nice part about that too is that if you like get sick of it or if you want to move it, you just pick it up and move it. You don't have to unscrew it or damage your walls. So there you go. I mean, I'm more for building stuff. I just don't know what your skill level is. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there you have it.
There you have it. And well, it's been a really long night. I gave my tip. I have more tips, but I'm gonna save it for the next one.
Yeah, save a tip.
I'm gonna save the tip.
Save a tip.
I'm gonna save a tip and then get a tip.
We love you guys. We want to thank you for coming back each and every week. And, of course, we got another one coming up every couple of days. So do us a favor and spread the love of
I don't know.
Hammer and Nails Podcast. Tell some friends.
Tell your friends. I can't even say it enough, you guys. If you like us, please tell a friend, because that's the only way we can get this thing to grow.
We appreciate it, and make sure you continue giving us your questions or any other topics you want us to talk about. And, from time to time, we change it up. We're starting to do, like, Tip Tuesdays. And then, on Fridays, we kind of do, like, what's in the news and other cool trending stuff and just fun stuff that's going on, in our lives. But, if you guys want tips specifically, remember every Tuesday we're going to be doing something like this. So, give us your questions on social media and try to give them to me like a day or so in advance if you can. It's like a little time to organize this stuff.
I know people have been slacking. I've been putting posts out
guys
there.
Guys are slacking.
Yeah, and people aren't responding so quickly. And so, ask your questions if you have any. So
and with
anyway,
that, we will catch you next time.
Yeah, don't forget we love you.
All right, later.
Bye.